Hehehehe. And welcome to another PrisciTV day. Hi Ace. Hi Onolith. Hi Ricket. Hi Monotone. Hi Rock. Hi Rocky. My brodas, welcome hehehe to another day at PrisciTV. I hope today has been going good. Favorite day is Prisci Day? What? Hi Doc. Hi Carlos. Hey, is nice to be here today. Had been a think day for me, but I am glad I can chill now. Hey, no cats allowed. Doing epi, you can do it. Piano cat. Piano cat. Piano cat. Hi Cerulean. My brodas, let's pretend is the start of the week. Lolo. Yesterday I wanted to start the week with y'all. But today will be. Hi Mad Jack. My brodas sending the best vampire magic. For a good week. Hope all goes good. That was crazy. Thanks you for sending that. Nice piano. Well, cat piano. Niano sounds nice for it.
Niano. Niano.
Must be a new genre now. There's demand for the Niano. The public want it. Their paw? Are you like a cat or something? Reveal yourself. Lololololo.
Prisci 37 Pepelov Prisci 37 Pepelov Prisci 37 Pepelov.
Laskubi, thanks you so much for the 8 months. Thanks you so much for the support. Ricket, that's crazy. I had seen instruments like that, but modded is nice to see the cat piano again. Once I saw a modded cat piano. That exactly one, but with knobs. Cat piano supremacy. I am frog lololo. Hi Patchy. I love to play piano, but my hands now I don't think is possible cause piano keys are heavy. It would hurt in no time. But I used to practice a lot. I love to practice on afternoons. I used to love that. I think it was my favorite part of the day kinda. Also the blue time. I think those two are nice times. I used to go to walks to the park and those moments where like magic it was nice to see the sky orange or blue. Back in then I played some stuff I did. Like produced lol. But I would love to play piano someday here, that would be fun and chill. I am not mega good but I think I can play. Oh God, I promise we will go back to those fun moments. I have fun already here, but you know, more activities. I die to do more activities here as I used to. Thanks for the patience and sorry for the wait. Me elegant. Lololo. When I think about elegant, I remember that SpongeBob episode. The elegant Squidward. My brodas, let's start with some vids. I really wanted to see an strawberry one. Don't worry, voice high. Have a nice cozy time, Mad. Thanks, I love strawberries. OMG, not like me, lololo. Well, in fact, I am the strawberry. The emote one. Is my armor. Strawberry armor. Frutilla Priscilla. Lololo. Yeah, definitely peak form. Peak cinema. So let's strawberry.
Most wonderful time of year. Second, because nothing beats Christmas. It's finally strawberry season! I have been counting the weeks until strawberry season was in full swing again, and similar to how I did my very first What I Ate in a Week video, I picked one of my more exciting weeks in February to document everything I ate and also show a little bit of what I did. Day 1. We're off to an interesting start today, because for lunch I took my friend Manu to the One Piece Collab Cafe at Shibuya Parko. This will be included in my next Collab Cafe compilation video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about everything, but we attempted to share most of what was on the menu, which
all looks good.
Will be included in my next Collab Cafe compilation video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about everything, but we attempted to share most of what was on the menu, which consisted of 3 savory dishes and 3 desserts. It was a lot. If you're in Tokyo, this collab is actually still going on until May 18th, and if you're not, you'll hear all about it soon enough in the next part of my Collab Cafe series. After spending the rest of the afternoon running errands and going to a dermatologist appointment, I got myself some milk tea from Gongcha on the way home. In the evening while I was working, I snacked on some grapes and cheese. And for dinner, I made chicken breast with some snap peas and broccoli. It was at this point where I was faced with the avocado bag dilemma, which is when you have a bag of avocados that you got from Costco with the intention of gradually eating them as they ripened one by one, except that only works for like 2 days, because on the 3rd day, the rest of them decide to get super ripe and super dark at the same time, and they're all screaming, "We're ripe! We're ripe! You gotta eat us ASAP or we're gonna go bad!" And you're like, oh my god, what do I do with 4 extremely ripe avocados? Guacamole. The answer is guacamole. So I made a bowl of guacamole for us to eat on the side with some tortilla chips. And for dessert, a pack of juicy red strawberries. Day 2. This morning, I skipped breakfast because I was on my way to a recording studio to record lines for a video collab with another channel, and I was super nervous. I just finished recording all of my lines. It was in English and also Japanese. It was really hard. I tried my best. It was my first time doing anything like this. Let me show you guys what this looks like. Look at this. Wow, my first time in like a legit recording booth. On the way to my next destination, I stopped into the station shopping area to look for a gift to give to the friend I was about to see, and this shrimp tempura onigiri caught my eye, so I bought one to save as a snack for later. At this point though, I was starving and I needed a meal badly, so I stepped into a coffee shop and ordered myself a chicken tomato soup with a side of cheese toast and an iced almond milk latte. For my next stop, ASMR Twix had actually invited me as a guest to her head spa in Shibuya to do their 3-hour bucket list head spa course. All the courses include a complimentary drink before and after the session, so for my first drink, I got a hot matcha latte. And after my session was done, I ordered an iced lemon.
The rose is ice. The ice is a rose. Lol.
Yeah.
Prisci 37 Prisci cheer.
Danko thanks you so much for the 36 months. Thanks for the support.
Lemongrass ginger rooibos tea. Getting a head spa here feels so luxurious and relaxing, and my hands are getting all tingly just remembering it. So big thank you and huge shout out to ASMR Twix for generously offering this experience to me again. On my way home, I passed by Family Mart and saw that they were advertising this cat-printed bottle tea for Cat Day, which I had to get, and also their limited time cheese famichiki, which I also had to get and snacked on as soon as I got home. I also snacked on the shrimp tempura onigiri that I picked up earlier that day. And for dinner, I cooked chicken breast with broccoli, asparagus, and some potato salad that I got on sale. After dinner, I shared this bag of black pepper and garlic mayo shrimp chips with Dlss, which I think are a new limited time flavor, which is such a shame because these taste way better than the regular shrimp chips. And of course, the day would not be complete without 2 packs of big ol' red juicy strawberries. The perfect way to end a meal. Day 3. This morning, I headed straight to Kichijoji to visit a whimsical little pop-up cookie shop to pick up some gifts for a few friends. And in the station nearby, I saw an advertisement for a super cute limited-time rabbit-shaped Uncle Butter sandwich. So I grabbed 2 to go for myself and Dlss. So you're meant to heat it up in the microwave for just a few seconds, and inside there's this delicious combination of red bean, custard, and butter, which also soaks into the soft sponge cake, and oh my god, it is so good. It's so good. I love red bean and butter together. And speaking of butter, I also ate a piece of toast with a strawberry butter jam that I picked up on my way home that I really wanted to try. And with both of these things, I had a cup of coffee. We spent the afternoon working on Spilled Ink Patreon art requests, and for dinner, I cooked chicken thighs with mushroom and onions, leftover potato salad, and eggplants. In my last video, I briefly mentioned not being super fond of eggplants, and I actually got a few suggestions in the comments about how to cook them to be tasty, and eggplants happened to be on sale at the grocery store that day. So I gave it a shot, and I thought they turned out pretty good. I'm willing to give eggplants another chance after this. And for dessert, another 2 packs of strawberries. These ones were especially big, so I cut all of them in half and shared with Dlss.
OMG, they look so good.
Day 4. Today, I was meeting up with a fellow artist friend at a cafe in Nishiyogikubo, and I ended up getting this gorgeous Valentine's parfait, which had a lot going on. It had strawberries, strawberry meringue, lychee wine cream, pepper and chocolate ice cream, strawberry sorbet, milk tea ice cream, chocolate brownie pieces with pop rocks, chocolate and orange mochi, lychee tea jelly, lychee mousse, black tea crumble, and white wood ear mushrooms. It was really good. And for my drink, I ordered an iced lychee black tea. I also tried some of my friend's strawberry kakigori. This was a very strawberry-tastic outing, and everything tasted
Lololo messy strawberries got it. Here they don't look that perfect.
amazing and not too sweet at all. We explored the area for a bit afterwards, and to our surprise and delight, there was a produce stand selling 3 different types of strawberries for only 398 yen a pack, which is the cheapest I'd ever seen, so I had to bring home all 3. At this point, I was desperately in need of something savory by the time I got back home, so I got myself one of those cheese famichikis from Family Mart and ate it with some pickled soy sauce cucumbers and a chicken and basil pasta salad, also from Family Mart. And also half of these cheese pie sticks that I got from one of the local shops when I was exploring with my friend. Dlss and I recorded a Spilled Ink episode for a few hours, and then for dinner, I really wanted to get rid of some of the leftover ingredients that I had sitting in my fridge, so I made ham sandwiches. And earlier that day, I picked up a salmon and vegetable cream soup with pasta from Family Mart, so I shared half of that with Dlss. And for dessert, we shared one of the packs of strawberries that I'd brought home, specifically the Yayoi Hime strawberries. Day 5. Today, we were celebrating Valentine's Day a day early, and for the special day, we took a trip to the Yokohama Strawberry Festival. Our journey over to the festival was filled with a few lucky surprises, like this free energy drink giveaway that we passed by at Shibuya Station, and a fruits basket pop-up shop that also happened to be at Shibuya Station and distracted me for like 5 minutes. My bag already had some goodies, and it wasn't even noon yet. At the Strawberry Festival, it was really hard to decide what exactly to eat since there were so many tempting strawberry
OMG.
choices. But for our very first snack, we got strawberry churros, which were heart-shaped and dusted with this delicious sweet and sour strawberry powder. These churros were made with rice flour, so they were light and crisp on the outside and chewy like mochi on the inside. This was easily the best thing that we ate at the festival. We also shared these strawberry chocolate covered macadamia nuts, and for my drink, I got this strawberry tonic water, which I didn't really
Moppy.
like all that much.
Hi,
And then I tried
Moppy.
like half of this super cute vanilla macaron. I say half because it didn't taste very good. We were both completely sugared out, so for lunch, we got ochazuke at a nearby food court, which is basically rice and a variety of toppings with a side of dashi broth. We spent the rest of the afternoon walking around and window shopping, and then for dinner, we went to Outback Steakhouse. And if you're wondering why Outback Steakhouse of all places, we went to Outback on a whim during last year's Valentine's Day, and the experience was so great, we decided to do it again this year. I ordered a house side salad with ranch dressing. I also ate some free bread, and then I got a medium rare ribeye with a side of mash and coleslaw. It was pretty good. Tasted like America. Day 6. Today I woke up bright and early because I was gonna meet up with some girls for a Galentine's outing. I started my day off with that free energy drink that I'd gotten the day before, and after meeting up with one of the girls, we got a quick breakfast together at a nearby cafe where I ordered a tuna cheese sandwich and an iced coffee set for only 530 yen. We needed all the energy we could get because today we were checking out the Utsuwa Tokurashi market, which was a 2-day tableware and pottery market in Tachikawa. This was my first time ever at any sort of pottery market, and it was so cool getting to see all the handmade and hand-painted goods that were being sold. You guys know I'm weak for art markets, and this one is absolutely going to be a repeat event for me next year. I ended up buying a few gifts for some friends and a couple pieces for myself, like these very cute embroidered strawberry earrings. There was a craft popcorn stand at this event, so when I started feeling peckish, I bought and snacked on a bag of cheese popcorn. After we were done browsing, the girls and I went to Mosca Ginger Garden for our Galentine's afternoon tea reservation. The sweets tier of the pastry stand included a bear-shaped passion fruit and strawberry macaron, strawberry panna cotta, a chocolate cream caramel cookie tart, and a canela cake with fresh strawberries. On the savory tier, we got a honey mustard chicken bruschetta, chicken ballotine with mashed potato, a couscous salad, and an adorable bear-shaped meat pie adorned with a bow, which took on a more, unfortunate appearance once we started cutting into him and eating him. We also got unlimited tea and a very
The bear.
which took on a more, unfortunate appearance once we started cutting into him and eating him. We also got unlimited tea and a very tasty and refreshing sparkling strawberry mocktail. The presentation of everything was so cute. I honestly thought it was going to be more pretty than tasty, but everything actually tasted pretty good, especially the canela cake and the bear meat pie. The only thing I didn't like was the panna cotta, and that's mostly because I don't like panna cotta. And to finish off our Galentine's Day, Kari gifted us a tea time themed mini acrylic stand of our Love and Deep Space mains, which she drew herself. They were so stinking cute and a perfect addition to our table. Later in the evening for dinner, I ate some grocery store sushi that I picked up on my way home. This particular one is my go-to whenever I get a hankering for salmon and I want to get something quick. As an extra little Valentine's treat, I made some cheesecake stuffed strawberries for Dlss. I didn't have any because I don't like cheesecake. So for myself, I ate a pack of strawberries and used the strawberry bowl that I purchased from the pottery market. Day 7. I started off my morning with a cup of green tea and then went out to meet up with a friend for brunch at the Flippers in Shinjuku. I got myself an iced strawberry rooibos tea and an iced coffee because I couldn't decide between the two of them, so I just got both. I also ordered a grilled salmon green salad with dill dressing. Flippers was advertising their limited time pink strawberry souffle pancake, so we ended up sharing one of those while we chatted and caught up with each other. For a late lunch, I ate the same exact grocery store sushi that I had the day before, and I'm realizing now I think I had like an intense fish craving today for whatever reason. Because for dinner, I had a shrimp katsu and chicken bento box that I picked up from a station bento stand on my way home from brunch. And you already know we couldn't end the day without eating a pack of strawberries. And that concludes another What I Ate in a Week. The amount of strawberry consumption might seem a bit excessive, but I only get to enjoy this fruit in its prime 4 to 5 months out of the year, so I'm trying to make the most of it. Anyway, this fruit in its prime 4 to 5 months out of the year. So I'm trying to make the most
OMG. Lolololo.
of it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching yet another food-related video, and I hope you enjoyed. Also, a reminder, if you're interested in some casual art content, we post a new episode on the Spilled Ink channel every week, so that'll be in the description if you want to check that out. Okay, bye-bye. See you later this month.
Lolololo. Raining lolol. Thanks for sending the vid, was nice. I enjoy lots seeing different foods and strawberry. Have a good nice voice. Seeing all those strawberry dishes makes me think, why not me, lol. They looked so good. And since his strawberry must be so good. Lololo. Time for another vid.
Call me a shitmaker. My job is to make things shitty. The official title is Enshittificator. What I do is I take things that are perfectly fine and I make them worse. More specifically, I make it shitty. I come from a long line of people making things shitty. My father was an enshittificator. His father before him and his father before him. So yeah, it's a proud tradition in our family, making things shitty. But it is hard work, and it's not very cost efficient to do it like this. I can only be in so many places at one time. So I needed a way to scale up the business without working myself to death. And just when I needed it, the solution lands right in my lap. Enter the internet. All of a sudden, I didn't have to move around to make things shitty. I could just stay in one place and make things shitty for way more people at the same time. And that's when things really started to move. Got a favorite website? Let's fill it with pop-ups. Preferably scam. Enjoying a video? Oopsie, ad break. Oh, you bought an expensive phone? Great. Here's an update to make it shitty. Let's say you have 1,000 pictures.
Lololololo.
Here's an update to make it shitty. Let's say you have 1,000 pictures of your deceased mother. Oh, so sad. What do? I make you pay for it. The memories may be yours, but the photos, they're mine. So it's very important. It needs to be nice at first, but then. Yes. Yes. What do you say? Okay. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Woohoo! Finally. You're not happy with the way something you really liked turned shitty. What do? Contact customer service. Here, talk to completely useless chatbot. No human available. Here's my favorite part. Let's say someone starts an alternative service. What do? We buy them. Make people dependent enough, and then make it shitty! You, sell me a car.
Well, it's great.
Sold. I'll buy your car. Now what? I don't have any more money. You have me in the palm of your hand. You can crush me. So what do? Updates. Radio, premium feature. Heating, premium feature. Now I have a shitty car and I can't afford a new one. But what I can afford is a small monthly payment. Make it shitty! The future? The future is looking bright.
Braking is now a premium feature. Please enter your credit card details.
The shitification of everything gotta be studied. Lolalol. Thanks for sending the vid, was mega fun. And mega real lolalolol. This dude must be working like crazy lolalol.
Hi Prisci and Prisci gang. Sending in lots of love.
Hi Tenor, thanks for the 33 months, sending lots of Priscilla 37. Thanks for the support. The 6-7-fication of the Prisci 37. Lolololol. Is okay lol. Okay, let's see it.
An accident. Every driver's worst nightmare. But what if you could take it back? Going 65 miles per hour, it takes 365 feet to bring your car to a complete stop. Driving just 5 miles per hour slower, you gain an additional 100 feet of stopping space. So what would you rather save? 30 seconds or a life? Oh my God! Oh my God, that's Hitler!
What is going on? Lolololo. OMG. Have a good night, Ace. My brodas, my stomach is hurting a lot. I am like around the world coping. Around the world cope. Gotta be a new thing. Let's see this new thing. Raindancer, thanks for the follow. Damn. Is a whole new thing. Who is she? Is there AI in this? 'Cause it seems like. It have that IA art style filter or whatever is called. It looks weird. No, they look so AI now. Nobody asked for this. Lololo. Aw man, I didn't wanted this future. I wanted more clear tech. Lololo. But what about the art style in the games? The art direction. That's is gonna be missing with that. I don't know is weird. I feel weird about it, but I guess whoever who wants to use it. Or have the PC for it, you know. Neural rendering I call is words gymnastics. That's crazy. Corpo speak lol. Yeah, I read about that not so long the AI playing the games. That would be like seeing a movie. Or a gameplay. I would prefer seeing a YouTuber playing it. But yeah, I guess each person. To 5090 damn. The light bill. The IGN experience Lololo. I don't like where this is going. But yeah, I guess we still have the option to not use it, and yeah. People don't want to play video games anymore. Man, that's gonna be crazy. That day. Lololol. Also recently I saw that Pokemon Go was just collecting data. But doesn't surprise me if it is real. Since people was going outside walking and yeah. But yeah, very cyberpunk. Very cyberpunk from their part. Bruh, I think we going there cuz all still shitty but tech is getting weird. And yeah. Once I remember reading that data selling is an insane market. That I don't even have that it don't even have a price and is really important for some companies. Is wild. Tenor feats are saved in some data center. What? Is wild future for real? Very cyberpunk. Let's see another vid. Why video game graphics are evolving backwards. Now that we are kinda on topic.
Have come a long way. Video games have come a long way. We went from 2 moving lines with a ball in the middle to perfectly replicating cities with thousands of NPCs that have more personality than my actual neighbors. However, somewhere along that way, the graphics that looked like they would soon look better than real life went missing. In fact, they started evolving backwards. We were promised a road to perfection. We were told that by 2024, we would be stepping into worlds indistinguishable from reality. We were promised a cool matrix. Instead, we got whatever this is. I want you to look at Cities Skylines 2, a game released in 2023. A game that brought the most powerful graphic cards on the planet to their knees. It basically ran like a laggy PowerPoint presentation. And the weirdest part, the graphics you were looking at weren't even that special. So naturally, the community wants to find out why a city builder was demanding more processing power than a NASA launch simulation. And they found something shocking. It wasn't the lightning, it wasn't the physics, it was the teeth. Every single city
This wanting to reach photorealistic graphics is bad. I want good histories, good games.
citizen walking on the sidewalk had a fully modeled 8K. It wasn't the lightning, it wasn't the physics, it was the teeth. Every single citizen walking on the sidewalk had a fully modeled 8K set of teeth. You couldn't see them during gameplay, but they were there, eating your frame rate for breakfast. And this is the perfect summary of the problem with modern video game graphics. We are seeing a strange phenomenon where we need $4,000 graphic cards the size of a microwave, and yet the final image looks worse than 2013. Everything looks blurry, grainy, and it runs at 20 frames per second. And it makes you wonder, how did we end up here? How did we go from squeezing miracles out of a potato to struggling to run a menu screen on a supercomputer? And to understand why modern graphics feel so wrong, we have to look at an era where they felt extremely right.
Tenor thanks you so much. Thanks you.
And this is the early 2000s, the golden age of the PlayStation 2, the Xbox and the GameCube. Now, if you boot up any game of that time with today's standards, you'd ask yourself how we could think that these games were realistic. But what we tend to forget is that technically speaking, these machines were garbage. I mean, the PlayStation 2 had 32 megabytes of RAM. To put that into perspective, if you take a screenshot of a modern game in 4K, the single image file might be larger than the entire memory bank of the console that ran GTA San Andreas. So how did they do this? How did they build massive open worlds, terrifying horror games, and cinematic shooters on hardware that had less processing power than my smart fridge? The answer is simple. They lied. They constantly lied to us, and we all enjoyed it. Let me explain. Developers in this era had to be way more than just programmers. They were some kinds of wizards. They knew they couldn't actually render a realistic world. So they used every trick in the book to convince you that you were seeing something, you actually were it. And don't worry, I will show you how that ties into modern graphics in just a second. But first, let's take a look at Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1, for example. Everyone remembers that fog, that thick, terrifying wall of white, where every second something could jump at you. And this fog is arguably one of the most iconic artistic choices of that time, because of the atmosphere, dread, and isolation it created. And even to this day, the art director is held as a genius for that choice. But that was not the main reason why the fog wasn't there. It was because the PlayStation couldn't render more than 10 feet in front of the character without exploding. If they removed the fog, you would have seen up until the point where the fog was, and the rest would have been simply a huge black void. The developers looked at the vision they had with the game, and at the same time, they saw the limitation they had with the hardware. So they said, okay, if we can't draw the distance, let's make it a part of the game. They took a weakness and turned it into a masterpiece. And they did this with everything. Or take Metal Gear Solid for another example. The reflections in the mirror weren't actual reflections. The PlayStation simply couldn't handle the math required to bounce light off a surface. So Hideo Kojima just rendered a second room on the other side of the room and put a second Snake character in there who mimicked every one of your movements perfectly. It was all smoke and mirrors. Okay, I'm sorry for that pun. But here's the thing. Because they couldn't just brute force the graphics, they had to focus on readability. This is a concept modern game developers seem to have forgotten. And for a long time, this creativity would take video games closer and closer to the real world and make them more realistic. We look at the jump from PS1 to the PS2, and then from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3. And we thought, my god, if they can do things like this with 256 megabytes, what can they do with 16 gigabytes? And over the next 2 years,
Yeah, what happened now? Games are insanely heavy.
It actually continued to improve. See, there was a specific time window, roughly between 2007 and 2016, where the hardware finally caught up with the ambition. And at the same time, developers hadn't yet become lazy and kept pushing the boundaries. It was an era where optimization actually meant something and was not just a buzzword to upscale shit, so it looks like clearer shit. But we are going to talk about that in just a second. Now, all of this started with a question that became a meme and a benchmark at the same time. But can it run Crysis? Now let me explain. When Crysis launched in 2007, it took the graphics of all other video games and made them look like kindergarten level drawings. It looked so good, people were actually arguing if the screenshots from the games were fake. I mean, even if you look at the screenshots now, you would say it looks better than most modern Assassin's Creed graphics. But at the same time, it destroyed graphic cards. No joke. If you tried to run Crysis on ultra settings in 2007, your PC would sound like a jet engine preparing for takeoff. You could literally heat a small apartment with the fan of your computer. Funny enough, I can't remember any gameplay of Crysis. All I can remember is the graphics. Anyway, why am I making this example right here? For the simple reason, the difference between Crysis and the mess we have today is that Crysis melted your PC because it was actually doing something. There were millions of polygons at native resolution and not some upscaling mess. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry, we are going to get there. Now, this era between 2007 and 2016 gave us the holy trinity of graphics. We had Crysis for the raw tech. Then we had The Witcher 3, which obviously had some graphic problems like the hair, but the scale of the game was just insane. And at the same time, I don't think I have seen something as beautiful as looking down from the balcony of Kaer Morhen for the first time. And then we had Uncharted 4, which for me was the pinnacle. Somehow, Naughty Dog managed to squeeze a Pixar movie out of the plastic box the PS4 was at that point of time. And we truly believed that the line between games and reality was about to vanish. We thought that the next generation would take this foundation and perfect it. However, this wasn't the case, because around that time a new technology was born. A technology that would take us away from the native resolution and bring us to the cesspit of upscaling. And that's when the rot began, and gaming graphics started to evolve backwards. Now that didn't happen overnight. It was more of a slow creeping infection, and it started with a piece of technology that initially looked like it would make the creation of gaming way easier: the Unreal Engine 5. Now before you go and crucify me in the comment section, Unreal 5 is an incredible piece of engineering and technology. It's a wonder. If you look at tech demos, it looks like magic. I still remember when I first saw the trailer of a character walking through a rocky canyon. Every single pebble looked like real life. The character was photorealistic, and the light was better than anything I had seen before. However, it came at a cost. See, if you give every mediocre programmer a magic wand, they stop learning how to perform the real trick and just rely on the magic wand. And through this, we have entered the era of lazy game design. And this because the engine is so good and so easy to use, developers have stopped building their own engines and stopped creating custom tools to solve unique problems, and everything became drag and drop. And this created a massive problem. Everything looks the same. Every game.
Bandicoot Playa thanks you so much for the raid. Hope y'all had a fun stream. I am Prisci, and right now we are watching some vids. So please enjoy.
Everything became drag and drop. And this created two massive problems. First, everything looks the same, which is the Unreal Engine look. Every game has the same specific kind of rainy wet. It's slightly grainy, has a high contrast, and basically looks like a damp basement in Scotland. It doesn't matter if the game is a fantasy RPG, a sci-fi shooter, or what really happening in a damp basement in Scotland. They all share the same heavy, sluggish visual DMA. But the second problem is the fatal one. See, the Unreal Engine 5 is heavy and assumes that everything using it has a supercomputer. But because the engine does so much of the heavy lifting automatically, developers have stopped optimizing their game. See, back in the day, if a level ran poorly, a developer would go in and manually remove objects. They would rewrite the code, simplify the geometry, and basically do the hard work, just like I described with Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid. But now, they see a problem and say, don't worry, the AI will fix it. And that's where upscaling comes into place. And this is the true reason why video game graphics have never felt the same. Because now we have moved from native resolution to reconstruction. Now for those of you who don't speak nerd, let me explain. And don't worry, I will not get into too many technical details because I don't understand most of them myself. But basically, native resolution means that if you have a 4K monitor, the game is actually drawing 4K worth of pixels. However, upscaling on the other hand means that the game is actually running at a much lower resolution, like 1080 or even 720 pixel. Initially, the game renders a small blurry image. Then AI looks at that blurry image, guesses what it should look like, and then stretches it to fill your screen. It's a digital equivalent of taking a way too small photo you downloaded from Google and you keep increasing the size to fill your screen. Sure, from a distance it looks okay, but up close, it's a complete smear. Originally, this technology was actually pretty useful because if you had an old graphics card, you could suddenly play games you couldn't play before. And all of this was supposed to be the icing on the cake. But the industry looked at the technology and said, wait a minute, if the AI can draw the pixel for us, why do we waste months optimizing the game at such a high rate? And with that, upscaling did not only become the icing on the cake, it became the whole cake. Developers on a large scale stopped hitting 60 FPS. They just aimed for good enough 30 FPS at 720 pixels and let the AI do the rest. And funny enough, when I'm telling you all of this, I feel like a weird guy sitting in his basement with a tinfoil hat on. But this is a fact written in the system requirements of modern games. Look at Remnant, Alan Wake 2, or Immortals of Avium. In the fine print, it says that the software for upscaling is required, which for me translates to, we did not finish optimizing the game, we are relying on an algorithm to finish it for us. And the result of all of this is this weird, Vaseline-like filter we get in most modern games. I mean, have you ever noticed how modern games look weirdly soft? Like there's this constant subtle blur over everything? That's the cost of upscaling. The current frames you see get blended with the previous frame to smooth out the edges. That's why all the screenshots you take out of a game look great. But when you actually start moving and, well, play the game, you get a muddy image. I know all of this was extremely technical what I just told you, so let me put it into simpler terms. And I promise that's all the tech stuff you have to understand. So imagine you have a beautiful oil painting. That's the game. But once you start moving, the game starts painting new frame over your existing painting. Sure, you can still see what was meant to be there, but something looks off. And that's the reason why we have games that have better lighting and better shadows than Uncharted 4, but they look worse because you are viewing all of this through a layer of overdrawn paintings. And that's not even the end of the story, because with the recent improvements of AI, they are not just faking the resolution anymore, they started faking the frames too. This is the latest magic trick. The AI doesn't just stretch the image, it actually invents entirely new frames in between the real ones. It guesses what happened between frame A and frame B and draws a fake frame A.5. So now, when you are playing a game, you are seeing a low-resolution image upscaled by an AI with fake frames inserted by another AI. You aren't playing a video game anymore, you're playing a prediction. You are moving your mouse and the computer is hallucinating a response. And this is the moment where it all came to crash down. Because now we have lost human touch in a game, the art and the thoughts someone has put into it. Because now 99% of the industry is just relying on an AI to draw all the pixels. And this leads us to the uncanny valley. Now, before I explain what the uncanny valley is, let me make one thing clear. This is not a black and white line of ever since they used this technology, all graphics went downhill. I mean, we had games with absurdly good graphics, like the new God of War games. But there's a general trend in the industry to go down that road. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the uncanny valley and what this means. I have an image here on the screen that explains it perfectly. The image looks fine, but you feel that something is off, that something is not quite human or real. Let me give you an example. We all love WALL-E, we love Mario, and we definitely love the minions. They are cute, but at the same time, they are clearly fake. But if you keep making them more and more realistic, there comes a point where the line drops off a cliff. The skin is too smooth, the eyes are hollow, and the movement is quite wrong. And suddenly, our brain stops seeing a cute character and starts screaming, "Kill it with fire and run away." You can best describe it if you go into ChatGPT, set in a picture and say 100 times, "Generate me this picture," and don't change a thing. After 100 times, it will first of all not look like the original picture, but even more importantly, it will get more and more uncanny with every single generation. And for the last 5 years, the AAA gaming industry has been building summer houses in the uncanny valley. We are seeing characters that have an insanely high definition, but they don't have pores, peach fuzz, and the same dead eyes of a tech CEO during a congressional hearing. To put it into more philosophical terms, we have skinned reality and stretched it over a wireframe, while pretending it looks like reality. But the uncanny valley isn't just about faces anymore. Since developers let run everything through AI generation, it has also jumped over to the environment. You see, back in the Team Fortress 2 or Halo 3 days, you could look at a screen and instantly know what was happening. Red guy is bad, blue guy is good. This is a wall and that is a door. Pretty simple, right? Well, today, a realistic game are just piles of millions of polygons of garbage. And as I said earlier, if you pause the game and take a screenshot, it looks incredible. It looks like a photograph. But you aren't playing a photograph, you are playing a game. You need to see the enemy, you need to see the door, you need to see the wall, and most importantly, you need to know where you need to go. But because everything is cluttered, nothing really seems to fit together. Now, to make that more understandable, look at this picture of an interior design. This looks like a perfectly put together home. But once you start adding all kinds of stuff, like I'm doing here, it looks weird. And even though each piece looks good on its own, altogether, it just looks like a big Where's Waldo picture. The entire style is off, and I'm going to show you more examples of that later on. But because everything is so cluttered and detailed, the developers have created a new problem. No one can find the exit. No one knows where they need to go. And this leads us to the most hilarious, stupid, and unnecessary controversy of this generation: the yellow paint. You've definitely seen it, but maybe you haven't noticed it by now. It's in Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy VII, and even in God of War. Let me give you an example. You walk into a dark, moody, hyper-realistic dungeon. The lighting is physically accurate. The shadows are deep. And then there's a giant splash of yellow paint on a crate, or a letter wrapped in yellow tape. Why? Because without it, players wouldn't find the exit, be stuck in a room, and quit the game. Now, to be fair, this type of guidance has always been there in video games. For example, in Tomb Raider, the rock you need to go through looked differently. In Uncharted, the parkour elements stood out from a building. Or in Assassin's Creed, you had like the eagle vision. But the big difference is, all of these things I've just mentioned were creative solutions to guide the player where they should go by design. However, nowadays, developers suffer from an asset library problem. See, making these hyper-realistic assets is expensive, so most don't create them anymore. They buy the texture of a realistic rock and drop it in. This is why Call of Duty, Forspoken, and Suicide Squad all share the same damp rock aesthetic. It's because they are literally using the same rock. We have lost the artist's hand. See, when you look at Borderlands, you know it's Borderlands. When you look at Dishonored, you know it's Dishonored. Now, don't worry, we're going to talk about art styles in just a second, but here's the thing. We have the same reality graphics over and over again, and it turns out it's pretty boring. We are literally paying $70 to play games that look like a parking lot on a rainy Tuesday. And to me, it feels we have forgotten that graphics are supposed to serve the gameplay. Instead, graphics have become the main driver. But why is that? Why are they willing to let AI upscale every game, make up frames that aren't there, and then blend everything together so it only looks good when you stand still? Well, because good graphics apparently sell better, and it's cheaper to create games this way. See, you can't put good level design on a billboard. And I think we have to look at the perspective of a marketing executive in a suit who never touched a controller in his life. He needs to sell 10 million copies of the new Call of Duty Black Ops 27 to justify his bonus. But how does he do that? He definitely can't show you a screenshot of responsive input lag or intuitive mechanic depth. Whatever that means, I don't even know if these things even exist. But my point is, these things are invisible. You only feel them when you sit down and play. But you know what isn't invisible? Ray tracing. He can show you a screenshot of a soldier's face where you can see the fear in his eyes. He can show you a puddle reflecting the neon sign of a noodle shop. Because this is apparently the only metric that is understood by casual audiences and shareholders. And this way, we have built an economy where the trailers have an Instagram filters on it to sell more copies. The game doesn't need to be fun, it just needs to look good and fun for 30 seconds so people pre-order it, because once you've bought the game, they don't care what you do with it. And I know this was a lot of negativity for modern video games, but there is a way out, and there are highly talented people actively working on it. Ironically, the way out of these soulless games with graphics that are evolving backwards isn't found in even better technology. It's found in the ugly, low-poly past. Because while AAA giants try to make everything cheaper, more realistic, and basically end up with games that look and feel like every other game, there are gaming developers that are actively going against that trend. Do you remember how we talked about interior design earlier? Let's go back to that analogy because I believe it fits perfectly. Let me give you an example. What do The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Hollow Knight, and The Long Dark have together? Yes, they have an art style. But what does that have to do with interior design? Let me explain. Imagine you have two photos of two incredible living rooms. One is sleek, white, and modern. The other is cozy, warm, and basically a rusty log cabin. Individually, they both look awesome. They are masterpieces. But if you take furniture from the modern room and shove it into the log cabin, it looks like an absolute mess and much like a garage sale. And this is a secret that the indie scene has figured out, which the AAA industry has either forgotten or doesn't care about. Because it's all about cohesion. Wind Waker looks incredible, even 24 years later. Wait a minute, it has almost been 24 years since Wind Waker has released? Now I feel pretty old. Anyway, it looks awesome, not because it has the most polygons, but because every single blade of grass, every cloud, and every character looks like it was painted with the exact same brush. The chair matches the table, to speak in the interior analogy. Modern realistic games don't have this. They have a real rock next to a real gun next to a real tree. But because they were all taken from different asset libraries and just slightly adapted and then put through an algorithm, they feel like they don't fit together. That's the uncanny valley we talked about. And the players have noticed this. This is why the biggest games of the last 2 years have looked off. But let's go back to the art style. Look at Lethal Company. It looks like a PS1 game that was left in a microwave. Textures are warped, the lighting is jagged, and the animations are goofy. And yet, it was one of the most popular games in the Steam charts in the last few years. Why? Because the quote-unquote bad graphics leave room for your imagination. Another example is The Long Dark. This is one of the rare games I play for hundreds of hours with my girlfriend. The game was made by an indie team in 2017. They focused on the gameplay loop and picked a timeless art style. Every time you open the game, it looks more like it was painted, and that's why everything fits together perfectly. If they tried to make state-of-the-art graphics back in 2017 as an indie game, no one would take a look at this game anymore and think, wow, this looks beautiful. But because they actively decided to use a certain art style that looks like a painting, it still holds up today. It gets even more obvious why good graphics don't matter as much as the AAA industry thinks. And the ultimate proof is BattleBit Remastered. This is a game made by 3 guys in a shed. It looks like Roblox. The soldiers are blocky little toys, and they look like they come straight out of Age of War. And when it launched, it had more concurrent players than Battlefield 2042. And I know, the hype for BattleBit dropped down a lot. But the point still stands. Battlefield had hundreds of millions of dollars, a team of thousands, and the most advanced frostbite technology in the world. And it lost to 3 random guys who decided to make a game. Why? Because the players hated Battlefield. In Battlefield, the graphics were fighting the play. You couldn't see the enemy because they blended into a realistic debris. The sun glare blinded you, and you needed the NASA computer and the best monitor to actually have a chance to win the game. In BattleBit, you see a blocky enemy, you shoot it, and the enemy falls down. It runs on 144 frames on an old ThinkPad laptop, and you can destroy every single building in the game without your PC catching fire. And this brings us to the most important lesson we have seen with video game graphics. A rule that should be tattooed on the forehead of every executive at Ubisoft and EA. The style ages like wine, but the fidelity ages like milk. Go look at Okami on the PS2. It looks like a Japanese watercolor painting. It is still beautiful today. Now, go look at Medal of Honor from the same year. It tried to look real, and now it looks like a brown smear. See, realism has an expiration date. It doesn't matter how good your game is. And as soon as the next console comes out, your realism looks outdated. But the style, the thought you put into how the game looks, this is forever. And that's something I'm genuinely curious about. Tell me, which games from 10 years ago do you still look at and think, yep, this is a game I'd still replay today and not get eye cancer? However, there's another victim of this obsession with good graphics we haven't talked about yet. And this is the most important part of the video game, the actual gameplay. See, we have reached a point where graphics are actively fighting the controls. In the pursuit of looking like a movie, characters can no longer simply turn around. They have to shift their weight, pivot their foot, swing their hips, and then turn. Technically, this is impressive. And in a game like Until Dawn, I totally get that this increases the immersiveness. However, in an action game, it feels like you're pivoting a tank through a swamp. Take Horizon Forbidden West as an example, especially when it launched. An incredible technical achievement, even though it suffers from all of these problems we have talked about. But here's the thing. Every time you want to pick up a berry to heal, Aloy had to stop moving, bend down, pluck the plant, and stand back up. The whole process was super realistic. It looked great, but it was excruciating. It killed the entire flow of the game. It was so bad that the developers eventually had to patch in an option to turn the animation off. And to me, this screams like they admitted that the realistic graphics were getting in the way of the game. And now let's compare this to Doom Eternal or Elden Ring, because as I said, there are still games who get this right. But with Elden Ring or Doom Eternal, when you press a button, it happens instantly. It might not look as physically impressive to snatch an item at like 20 miles per hour, but it feels better. And this bloat isn't just a movement, it's on your hard drive too. Since we need the 4K texture for every single trash can or the teeth of an NPC, like we already talked about, games now have the size of 150, 200, or even 250 gigabytes. Call of Duty is now larger than the entire operating system of your computer.
This is what I mean. Games now are too large.
Why? Because optimization is dead. Why should someone compress audio? Why optimize textures? Just tell the players to buy another SSD. And while the big AAA gaming companies are busy making better and better graphics, they don't step back to think about the art style. Instead, they just go and make everything bigger and try to be even more realistic. Take Spider-Man 2 on the PS5 as an example. Another great game, but this game costs over $300 million to make. 300 million. And this, even though they already tried every tactic in the book to save costs. Just to put that into perspective, this is more than the budget of movies like Avatar or The Avengers. And here's the trap: the big gaming companies with shareholder pressure and optimized workflows from executives who never played a game fall into. When a game costs $300 million just to exist, it cannot fail. It must sell a whole lot of copies just to break even. And when you need to sell that many copies, you can't take risks. You can't just test around with a new art style, a new type of gameplay loop, or a different type of world building. And this creates a world with graphics and realism, while objectively getting better and better.
Mami, yo te veo ahí con tus amigas y todas tan bien ricas aquí fuera.
Duck, thank you so much for the raid. Hope y'all had a nice time. Thanks a lot again. My name is Prisci. Right now we watching some vids. Hope y'all enjoy.
A new type of gameplay loop, or a different type of world building. And this creates a world where graphics and realism, while objectively getting better and better, are feeling dull and actually look like they're evolving backwards. And I personally have the feeling that taking risks, trying new things, and really getting creatives are all these things that got the gaming industry to the point where it is now. And this whole thing has been forgotten by AAA gaming companies. We are sacrificing the user experience, the controls, the storage, the responsiveness, all to chase a level of realism that most people don't even notice because they are sprinting past it at full speed. And I believe we are now making games that are beautiful to watch on a screenshot, but look ugly in game and are exhausting to play.
My brodas, what a nice video, but ah man, knowing all this is the future is sag. But I get it, they gotta show something cool. And can't risk it. Ah. Thanks for sending the vid. My brodas, I hope those vids were after all a cool time. We can all ignore triple A. We can all ignore triple A. Lololo. Well, that's correct. This is 'cause the optimization. Now that is no needed. They just expect us to buy 25090. Lol. No way. But yeah. Stuff. My brodas, this vampire had a fun and to think time. Yeah, we just watched a vid not long ago. I think is weird AF. Since the art is changed. And is 2AI looking. Is weird is like watching those AI vids. I didn't like the feeling. I like this song but I don't even have it saved. And now that is sounding I will lol. I didn't knew the name. My brodas, thanks a lot for being here. I wanted to address that thanks for helping mom. This days were a big mess and without y'all the exams, the images wouldn't be possible. Thanks a lot for warring in helping. I am mega grateful about it. Like a lot. Thanks a lot, thanks a lot. I will let y'all know about it. Image reading must be done already. So we'll let y'all know. Thanks a lot about again, thanks. My brodas, I wish y'all a nice rest of the day or night. Thanks for being here. Please take lots of care. And stay cool. Please drink water. And donate plasma if you can.
I will if is that.
I will if is that. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for the raids Bandicoot, Playa and Duckenhead. Than KS a lot. Thanks a lot. We'll see y'all tomorrow for more fun times. Love y'all.